Wind farm operators worldwide face a growing challenge managing blade health data efficiently while maximizing productivity and minimizing costs. This week we speak with Armando Costa Rego, and he is the founder and CEO of Arthwind Technologies down in Brazil. Now, Arthwind's newest innovation, ArthNex, delivers what operators have been asking for, a platform that connects field technicians directly with engineers, eliminates repair delays, and presents clear, actionable data through easy-to-use dashboards. Now stay tuned as Armando shares unique insights from his 15-plus years in the wind industry, including how Brazilian blade manufacturing expertise is giving Arthwind a competitive advantage that could save operators millions in maintenance costs.
Welcome to Uptime Spotlight, shining light on wind energy's brightest innovators. This is the progress powering tomorrow.
Armando, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you, guys. It's a pleasure to be here again.
Yeah, it's been a couple of months since we've last had you on the podcast, but a lot has happened since then. Arthwind, obviously huge Brazilian presence. You guys are working with most of the operators or most of the installed base in Brazil, and you're expanding out into the United States and other places. But the product offerings you have created over that short time span since we last talked are quite amazing, and you want to announce this new software product. It's called what?
ArthNex.
ArthNex.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, this product came from the idea to go deep in the value chain of the repairs. You know, everybody in the market, I think since 2017, the industry has experienced a fast improvement in the drone solution, the rover that we started like 4 years ago, and everybody's talking about how long it takes an inspection. Yeah, how long pressure it's reducing in minutes, so we are talking 30, 20, 25. For me, what matters if we will create data to repair. So the discussion of the ArthNex is, okay, we jumped to this phase of the skills, how fast is an inspection. We are now using this data to provide it to the owners and operators, OEM, whatever in the player in the market would be interested to use our blade repair knowledge capabilities to go direct to actions that can prioritize what to do, how to do, and sometimes why to do.
Yeah,
you know, that's the question. Nobody do this question. Why to do that?
Yeah.
Does make sense or not? So the data will tell you what makes sense or does not make sense.
Yeah. So when we look at most platforms out there, asset management, blade inspection platforms, it's here's your inspections, here's the findings from them.
Here's a spreadsheet.
Stop. Yeah, that's it. Right. There's no, just looking at the ArthNex platform. When Alan and I were peeking at it yesterday, it was like, here's a dashboard that shows you where your leading edge erosion status is on all, your whole fleet. And this, it's like, oh, that's great. Like, oh, your overall risk score is this. Oh, this turbine has a risk score of that. Like, oh, what's going on here? These are the ones that you need to stop now, look at in 2 weeks, look at in 12 weeks. Like, there was actionable data, and that's before we even get into the operational part of repairs. But actionable data that you can look at, dashboard, now I know what decisions I need to make today.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So it's a clean data, it's clear data. We can interact with the images. We are not focused in show like the entire blade in the platform, because that consumes a lot of dev time of development, you know. So, and we note that only 4% of the images have something to tell you. Yeah. So some point of interest. So we work exclusively in that information that's really useful to the operator.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem, right? Is that when we get drone images or internal inspections, there's a lot of data that then, as we've talked to operators in the United States, we have engineers, usually junior engineers, going through all that data, trying to pick out what's important and what's not important so that they can develop a plan themselves internally, but they're wasting thousands of engineering hours doing it.
And one of the troubles that we talk about regularly on the show is lack of technicians, but also the lack of engineering knowledge and support. So when you have a blade engineer this regularly happens in the States, I'm the blade engineer, I'm in charge of 1,000 turbines. What? So they don't have the bandwidth to take care and to look through all of these different things, and that's where the Arthwind team with the ArthNex platform and all the engineering expertise you guys have in the background can help operators like that out a lot, because they become their, turn the tap on, turn the tap off blade engineering team that they can use.
Yeah, in Artwind we combine, we have a triad that we involve like people. We are talking about knowledge and the experience of these people. All of the 140 people that work for Artwind in Brazil now have experienced some part of the value chain, or in blade design, or in blade manufacturing, or in the OEM, or make root cause analysis in broken blades. So we cover all life cycle. And the second pillar is technology. So we were the first company, maybe the South Hemisphere in the world, to make an inspection with autonomous drone back in 2017. So in Brazil, nobody was talking about drone. And the last one is methodology. We are very confident that we cannot change the methodology, otherwise we will have a mess with data. So since 2017, we created our own blade book just to be straight to what this data does means.
Yeah.
Okay, if there is another categorization, for example, everybody's talking about categorization, that's a huge discussion. I disagree that we need to categorize from 1 up to 5. I think that blade can talk much more than 5 levels. But when you have our own methodology, we can combine the data from the inspection that we did from the ground, from in the manufacturing. We can have a much more clear view during a root cause analysis when we go to the blade data book and to check the results. Yeah. There is no confusion. If a crack, if it's a delamination, if it's a Cat 5, it's a Cat 3. We tell the history of each damage and the cause, the potential cause of those damages, because our engineering is backed by blade designer. So they know what they are looking and what it can make this damage happens in the field,
Absolutely, and I think something that's missed for American operators is realizing the talent that sits in Brazil, because Brazil was a blade manufacturer long before America really started ramping up in blades, and then even after America slowly stopped making blades, they were still being made in Brazil.
Yep.
So the manufacturing technology is in Brazil. The engineers who design blades and know the inner structures of the blades and how to repair the blades and why certain blades perform this way and others that way. That knowledge base is in Brazil, which makes Arthwind so valuable, because you have just a huge people resource that doesn't really exist in other parts of the world. Maybe the only place I would assume is like Denmark, is where you have that kind of relationship between people that worked in the factory and understand how to build blades, then moved up to engineering and then moved up to management. That's kind of there. But your people are hard to find in the States.
Yeah.
And that thought process that goes along with it, because you had to suffer through all the things that happened in the blade factory and then out in the real world. You developed some of these systems long before United States operators have. So that gives you like literally a 15 to 20 year jump on what's out there otherwise, which is why Arthwind is so valuable, and which I don't understand why American operators aren't using your resources as much, just because you have the technology, you have the knowledge.
And now, like today, we wanted to make sure we talked about ArthNex, the new platform.
Yes.
And that knowledge base is what built that platform.
Absolutely,
It's
it did.
people that understand the whole value chain from manufacturing. I guess this sounds like a sales pitch for you, but we liked it so much when we saw it.
I was
We're
blown
like,
away
this
by
is
it.
Really a
amazing.
lot, Yes, back into the ArthNex, we spent the last 7 years only processing data from the inspection, but all of us came from the repair industry.
Yeah.
I started the business of repair in Europe in 2009.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I was dispatching field technicians for 23 countries like pizza, 48 hours with resin.
Yeah.
And I thought that the way that we was managing repair 15 years ago is not the way that we can accept anymore with modern blades, because if you see the margins, the safety margins of the blades do not allow lack of knowledge during the repair. So that's point that ArthNex will play a crucial value in this field, because if you go to the repair, everybody talk, how long takes your inspection, doesn't matter. How long are you save you in downtime with my data? Because the new feature of the ArthNex, we are going through the repair value chain and we are broken in pieces, each task, and connecting the field technician directly with the engineering. What happens in the industry today? A field technicians go with a standard procedure, they start to grind. So it takes 3 hours maybe to access the damage. They start to grind, hey, I found a wave here that was not in procedure. So they climb down, they
Full stop.
let the turbine stop it, go to the engineering by WhatsApp or whatever else saying. The engineer start to prepare a Word documentation and send back to the
This
technician.
is
Like,
if you're lucky. Usually this is like
Yeah.
a 24-hour delayed process.
Oh, easy.
you know that it can take like 48 hours in downtime. So we are very focused in reducing inspection time, but the board is looking how to help this part of the value chain. And in ArthNex we do. We connect the technicians through the app with the standard procedure, and if they found something different, they immediately in the tab, they press the button, there will be a push-up in the mobile of the engineering that you will start to work to the repair.
Yeah.
No, you will not wait an overnight process for tomorrow. They will solve the doubts of the technician and not preparing a word, giving instruction, because they know what to do, and they just need to redact and say the instructions, send the pictures, send the mock-ups, send the drafts, handmade drafts, just to give more research to the technician take decisions, And we are looking that we are already saving a lot of downtime in Brazil with this technology that you have for a customer applying, and the data that we are collecting is a good feedback from the blade repair companies, because it's making the life of the blade technicians much more easy.
Yeah.
They do not need to arrive in the hotel tired and prepare the reports. No, the work is done.
So back office work is being done, which is unique.
real time.
In real time, yeah. That's the beauty of what ArthNex is doing, because you've been through the other way of doing it.
Yeah.
And you've seen how lossy it is and expensive it is and the delays and the technicians. You created the platform, though, that is easy to access. And I think that's the hard part for a lot of people to grasp about ArthNex is you're putting all that knowledge in a mobile phone. It also appears on a desktop for the engineers to go through. The communication interface is so much better than the WhatsApp we've been doing.
Text
And,
messages.
and
text
also,
messages.
and also the track and the data, the history of the storyline of
That's
the
huge.
defect.
Yes.
Because when we broke the value chain of the repair, there is a complex tasks.
Yes.
Maybe a simple repair, there are 12 tasks.
Right.
Grinding, cleaning, etc., etc. So when we transform this offline data as online data, we generate code as metadata, because we can measure the efficiency of the campaign.
Right.
And also, a second point of our tool, that we control the quality assurance. What
Yeah.
kind of materials are being employed?
Right.
What's the calibration certificates?
Yeah.
So we provide a full quality assurance service digital to the customer. For 1 year later, if there's something is happening, you have all documentation of the damage. So you can use that with insurance companies to score, qualify new suppliers, for sure,
Yep.
because we are raising the bar of the quality controls of the industry.
Yeah, and that's the big problem I see mostly in the States, is that when they have an ISP show up on site, they don't have discrete hours of how long it took to do this repair. They don't know why it took longer than it did. They haven't looked at how long should this repair really take, and how do I budget this properly. On top of it, I'm just getting a PDF after it's done. I don't see anything live,
Yeah.
so to speak, which is a huge problem, because I think US operators can't realize how much money and time they're losing in that space.
It's millions and millions of dollars.
Millions of
I know,
dollars,
I know.
easily.
Easily.
And that's where ArthNex comes in, because now you're tracking ISPs, you're tracking almost to a technician level, the quality of the work, the
Engineering.
consistency of the work, the engineering of the work, right, exactly. So now, when I'm starting to do repairs, I come in much more knowledgeable, and I have much better cost control measures in place when I do it. So I can watch it go, I get alerts when the budget is running out, right? So that something happened, I assigned budget to this, I can't go over, I need to know that. ArthNex provides me that look, real time, as the repair is happening. Those are huge advantages.
I think that we need to agree that to make blade repair in the environment, in this environmental that we are living now with climate change, etc., that storm, where never have been some storm, is knowing so people is not ready how to plan.
Right.
So it's very difficult to forecast how long it will take the repair today. So if you have more data, we can learn a little bit more about that location to schedule or to make a better strategy, not changing the repair methodology, but change the the timing, when to do that. Because, sometimes I recommend to my customer to inspect the blades in the high wind season. It's crazy. You lost production. No, you lost like 30 minutes, but you prepare your repair campaign. That is the point,
Yeah.
You lose a lot of money,
Right. I think you're touching people on all sides of the value chain with the ArthNex platform. So you're making engineers happy by giving them QA, QC.
Yeah.
You're making the procurement and the finance people happier because you're optimizing the repairs themselves. So you're saving money there.
Material control.
Material control. The asset managers, I put my asset manager hat on when we were looking at the platform yesterday, and I see this entire health timeline of the blade. Like from the factory inspections we did to the post-commissioning, end of warranty, all through the whole thing. It was like, on this date we did this, on this date we did that. And you're able to see it in a flash.
In a graphical form.
Yeah,
It's
easy
not
to digest.
images where I have to keep clicking the image to see the thing, and then I got to figure out how a crack is progressing. It's broken down so it is visually easy to scan, which is what engineers have been asking for the last 5 years. Is I need to go in and scan 1,000 blades. I need to know which 20 I'm going to go look at today, but I don't want to spend 8 hours on each of these blades because I'm wasting my time. Going to Armando's system in ArthNex, I can scan it and I know what my top priorities are for the day. That is an important feature as we get more cost conscious. And over the we had an election in the United States, you may have heard about it, but we're getting very cost conscious about how we spend our money, and are we spending the money wisely? The way that we're going to do that is with systems like ArthNex. That's going to help us save money, be more efficient, get the repairs done, and extend the life of these turbines and produce more power. So it ultimately comes to power.
Yeah, because you are connecting engineering to the field.
Yep.
Yes.
Without going to the field, So I have had some situation with field technicians where I don't know what to do here, and they do wrong tasks. The damage will be still there. So we can make a good finishing, but 3 months later, the crack will be still there. So I think that one of the main points differential of ArthNex, people is asking, hey, how fast did you develop that? 2 years, but there is a knowledge of 20 years of experience of my team. So, and the best part of that, our product owner, for example, he came from the field. He was a field inspector. So he started to create small programs to make his life better, to make automated report. And you saw, hey, I think that we can create our own technology on that. So when you have the boss of the developers that have been in the field and a really smart guy, I think that's very quickly to digitize the industry. If you go to the opposite, for example, if you are only a tech company and try to figure out what to develop, it will take longer. You need much more trial, you need much more feedback, but when we know that you are digitizing from field to the office, much more fast, be assertive.
Yeah.
So.
And one of the advantages to the ArthNex system is a lot of operators have 3, 4, 5 years of drone images, external, internal, plus repair, PDFs, generally speaking, they're PDFs. And if they wanted to implement the ArthNex system, it would be easy to do. You're just going to import that into the system. ArthNex is going to digitize it, and then analyze it so that you can see those trend lines almost within a couple of days. I think you could be up and running with the ArthNex system for a lot of operators in the United States or globally, Australia, I think in another place, they could use it. You're going to be busy, Armando. I mean, you're going to be on an airplane quite a bit.
We actually do that. We have customer, I think that we are achieving 4 gigawatts of contracts in ArthNex, but with a 3 years contract, but we inspect more than 20 gigawatts per year in Brazil.
Right.
For the spot inspection.
Yeah. Which is important for everybody to understand. So what Arthwind is doing in Brazil is gigawatts after gigawatts after gigawatts of inspection, which doesn't really happen in the States. Historical.
Year by year.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the trust, right? So
that's
the
difference.
trust that market has in you guys to get the solutions right. We want to export that. Let's use that trust. Let's use that track record to help. Because, I mean, we talked about some of the successes that you've had, of course, with Arthwind, but with just the ArthNex platform, you guys have 4 gigawatts you've onboarded here on multi-year contracts?
Great.
Yeah, and plus 4 megawatts wind turbine, so it's modern turbine, old turbine, we have a mix of technologies there. And also, looking to what is the next, I think that we need to be much more concerned. Everybody's talking about the standardization in the inspection, but we can go through the repair as well. How to communicate the repair, how to report. So if you go to the ArthNex now, you press the button, automatically you have a beautiful report of 5 pages.
Wow.
We are receiving
not 60 pages.
We are 60 with
pictures
big,
this
no, it
big.
doesn't matter. It's not a photographic album for the wedding, you know. So it's we need to have a register to be used technically in the future with insurance company, with some discussion, technical discussion with OEMs, owner, etc. But I think that the most beautiful is really to digitize this knowledge, you know, and put in the front line, because we are very obsessed with the front line. Yeah. We are always thinking how ArthNex can be better to the field technician, because they are our customer. If they don't like, nobody uses it. So we are collecting this experience. We are talking with field technician. What's the challenge of language? What's the challenge of technical information? It doesn't make any sense to make a high technical procedure for someone that just needs to understand, hey, how kind of layer, how is the size of the scarfing, and how much product I need to prepare. So we don't need to complicate the terminology to the field operation. You need to make it easy. And I think that ArthNex will cross this bridge.
Yeah. Well, I want to touch on the insurance part of this.
Yeah.
Because insurance companies, as Joel has mentioned a number of times, run the world. So whatever insurance companies will pay for is what the industry will do. What they won't pay for is not going to happen. But getting insurance buy-in into a system like ArthNex is really critical, because they see the consistency of the repairs, they see the quality of the product, they can track it, they can also see where maybe an ISP is not doing the right thing and say, hey, all right, you know, we need to address that. The insurance industry is overseeing all of this at a tight level, and they would love to have access to ArthNex to understand general trends that are happening in the industry in terms of blades.
Exactly. I'm saying that dashboard, that quick look at a wind farm. If I'm an engineer, a renewables engineer from an insurance company, and it's renewals season, and now I have to look at 100 wind farms, and some of them are printing out ArthNex reports that are just like risk score. Here's this. Here's the top 5. This is what we did this year. Here's my timeline. Boom, check, they're good.
Right,
Boom,
reduced
check,
deductible.
Yeah.
You're going to reduce the deductible.
Thanks for recording that. I have 2 cases to talk about. You know, I think the information affects the valuation of the wind farms.
Yeah.
We cannot forget that we are in M&A market in Brazil. For example, a lot of acquisition in Brazil.
Right.
Big companies are quite a big one.
Right.
You know, and when we have the information organized, we have all technical details, and the buyer will see this information. Hey, I can buy this risk.
Yeah.
So you increase your valuation, but when we hide information, okay, nobody buy. So decrease the valuation.
Yeah, due diligence becomes quick.
We do a lot of due diligence in Brazil.
Yeah.
And when the buyers see our documentation, okay, it's very well. I know that there's a methodology, that people who knows what is saying, okay, there is the documentation. And also a second point, the insurance. I have a good case now. I have a good relation with insurance company. We do not work directly, but they told me sometimes, hey, if I see this kind of dashboard, I can buy this risk, because the problem is buy a risk that I do not know.
Yeah.
So with this level of management, I can reduce the premium, and they can do more inspection, they can do more repair, they can be more proactive, you know? So I think that we need to join these minds to create value to the market, to the industry, you know?
For that process, think about this. We're going to go buy a truck, right? And I've got 2 of them sitting there, but one of them has
maintenance book.
Every record, every oil change, every tire rotation.
What do you do?
Yeah. And then it has a platform that I can look at it, and I'm like, I'm going to buy that one because it's reducing my risk.
Yeah.
It gets rid of the worry. The one with all the details and everything organized well for me, that's what I'm buying.
Right. So ArthNex has sort of broken that barrier that we've been up against for the last couple of years in terms of understanding globally what is happening to blades, how we can more efficiently take care of them, update them, keep them in good repair for a longer time without spending so much money and so much engineering time spinning around. That is a huge value to the industry. And I know I just saw ArthNex for the first time last week and was just blown away by it, because I've seen a lot of operator inside monitoring systems and the spreadsheets and the picture, and
They're kind of the same.
They're roughly the same.
The UI, UX is different, but the data you're getting out of it is basically the same.
It is, and it's not super scannable.
Yeah.
And then ArthNex comes up, Armando says, look at this.
But
yeah,
you know,
even I, electrical engineer, understood what to do with those blades.
You know, we are a bootstrap company. We are not selling product to investors or VC,
Right.
etc. So
Yeah,
we
yeah.
are selling product to the market, that solve the problem of the industry today, not tomorrow. So we need to solve the problem of the industry today. Okay.
Right.
What I see on that is everybody's looking for a SaaS.
Yep.
But SaaS doesn't work without people.
Right.
So
No.
our business model, engineering as a service, the software is only the communication channel.
That's the
So we
problem.
have people. We have now in Brazil 25 people giving instruction to the customer through the platform. We have
Wow.
the AI in the platform. The ArthNex now brings
Yeah.
the AI for this typical question, hey, how many blades I
you
affected
showed us
with
that.
75?
Yeah.
In 2 seconds. It's faster than to go to download the report or call someone. The AI will tell. So for basic question, the AI is there for even for people that don't know nothing about blades.
Yeah, it's
they will
a
learn
chat
with the AI,
assistant.
you know?
Yeah.
We have in the hyper environment of the ArthNex, we have a chat that we can send general messages to the field. For example, imagine that we are now managing 100 crews, there are more than 200 technicians,
Yeah.
and they need to communicate something.
Yeah.
No, that's important. So we go in the chat, we select the work orders where you need that this communication go through, and you send a note. No, hey, everyone, stop your work today for a safety induction. So for project manager, to have this level of communication and log it in the platform that is historical is very powerful because it's very difficult to put everybody in the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah, fragmented
Also for safety
communication.
conditions.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, to have a finding, hey, everybody stop your work.
Lightning
In the same
in
time.
area.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So if you are talking that the industry is paying like, I don't know, $100, $120 per hour per technician, why not to pay $40 for a Starlink to have this kind of connection that you save a lot of money
In the States,
and safety?
this works at almost every wind farm.
Everywhere in Brazil,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
but
Everybody
Yeah,
has
not so
one.
much for you guys.
Yeah, well, yeah. We're working on that. Elon's working on that. So, as an operator, and a lot of operators listen to the podcast, in fact, pretty much all of them do, worldwide, how do they contact you to learn about ArthNex and get that demo so they can see this thing live? How do they go about doing that? Do they just Google ArthNex, ArthNex, and then it pops up, or do they go to your website?
They will find more details directly with us, so they can go to the commercial at artwind.com.br or direct to me. I'm very
Okay.
pleased to talk about ArthNex with everyone, no? Because I can solve a lot of doubts. I'm very energetic to talk with people. It's a product that we really believe that is changing the industry, you know? So
Yeah, well.
they can reach me out in Armando.Costa at artwind.com.br. BR. Don't forget the BR.
Yeah,
Dot
so
com
you
will
need
not
the
work.
.br. Yeah. And we'll put Armando's LinkedIn information
Yeah,
into
please.
the show notes so everybody can follow you and follow ArthNex. It's a truly remarkable product. I know you've spent a lot of time developing it and it's been vetted out. Now's the time to get it globally out
Yeah.
there. Armando, I love having you on the podcast. Just such a resource for the wind industry. So thank you for appearing.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.